Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to B Sports Picks. We're on a massive 15-0 run. If you don't believe me, check out the videos from yesterday and the day before and stuff like that. You'll see that I've been giving away these picks for free. I have one very strong play in the NBA today. It's going to be a two-leg parlay. These two-leg parlays have been amazing. Like I said, 15-0 run. Let me show you the proof of exactly what happened yesterday, and then I'm going to go right into the play. So here was the first play that I had mentioned was the 76ers. We actually took these at a plus 11.5. What this means is that they could have lost by 11 points and we would have still won this bet. However, they ended up winning by 11 points. So that was a 22-point difference on the win that we had. The second one I had mentioned, the Trailblazers and the Spurs, they were both on back-to-backs, so they were tired. The line was actually started at 243. We ended up buying it back to 250. You can see they barely even covered 225. So we had a 25-point cushion right here as well. Both plays were very easy wins for us. All right, so one of the first things I like to look at is what teams are on a back-to-back. So for today, we have Miami and the Pelicans. Miami played yesterday. They played against Minnesota, and now they're hosting. So the Pelicans do have a one-day rest advantage. And then Minnesota, like I mentioned, has played Miami. So now they're on the road. So they played Miami and they traveled. So the Wizards do have a one-day advantage. I don't like any of the games that they're playing against, but this is good information just to know. So, for example, if you were looking at the Heat to win or Minnesota to win, you have to keep this in the back of your mind. Like I said, it doesn't affect any of the plays that I have for today, but it's very good to look at this stuff before placing your bets. All right, next thing I like to look at is the Sharp Edge tool. If you want access to this for 2 weeks for free, the link is in the description. We just updated the logos and this other stuff for the line moves, which I'll show you right now. But what I like to do here on the dashboard is kind of see what the projected scores are. So you can see Cavaliers are supposed to win by 6. Magic is supposed to win by 6. Brooklyn Nets and the Nuggets are supposed to be even, which makes no sense. But it'll make more sense once I show you the play because we're actually taking this play on the under, and I'll show you exactly what that is. The Heat and Pelicans are supposed to win, and like I mentioned, the Pelicans are on a rest advantage, okay? Then you got the Wizards and the Timberwolves. Again, you got the Wizards with the rest advantage. Thunder 120 to 108, Bucks 119 to 112, and then we've been fading the hell out of the Kings, but today it doesn't make sense with the Bucks, so I'm staying away from that game. And then like I said, I'm going to show you one very strong parlay out of these two teams. So it's going to be the Thunder against the Suns, and then the Nuggets versus the Nets, and I'm going to tell you exactly how I'm playing that. Now, after we look at all the projections, what I like to do is go into the Sharp Plays, which is inside the Sharp Edge as well. And it gives you a lot of reasoning why these games are strong. So, for example, if they have the green background, that means that there's a high chance that this is going to hit. Now, these are not the looks. These are not the numbers that I like to look at. But regardless, this is telling you to look at the under. This is telling you to look at the Thunder and so on, okay? Out of these 6 plays or whatever it is, I'm going to go with 2 of these. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I'm playing it and why. But from this tool, it tells you why you should be looking at these plays. Now, this other thing I like to do is kind of go in here and look at where the lines are going. So basically where the sharp money is going, where the underdogs are going, where the favorites are going, all this stuff is inside this line move tool. So for example, this one says nuclear picks. And right away you can see that the Nuggets started at a 233. They're currently at a 223. So that's a 10-point line move, which is ridiculous. And I'll explain why I think it dropped that dramatically. So what I love about this tool is that it actually tells you where to look. So for example, it's telling you go look on the under 233, which means buy it back to the original opening line, which is 233. Okay, take another look at this. I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but take a look at these, take a screenshot. And what very important to look at is this green number here. Like I said, 10 points here, 2.5, 3, 2, 2, and so on. All right, now for the first play that I'm looking at is going to be the first leg of this. It's going to be a 2-leg parlay, like I mentioned. It's going to be the Nuggets versus the Nets. So this is actually one of the sharpest plays on the board today for NBA. So what I mentioned in the other screenshot, and it's right here as well, under the line move section, you can see that it started at a 233 and now it's currently at a 223. So this, I cleaned it up so it looks a lot cleaner now. And it's very obvious. This 233, now it's 223. And here's the other kicker. You can see the bets are 83% on the over. The money is 85% on the over. Yet the line is dramatically dropping down. That's a huge line shift, even though the public is all over the over. So this is called a reverse line move. And this is actually a dramatic line move for being the fact that it's actually going in the reverse section. Again, that's a 10-point drop. Now, let me tell you why I think this is happening, okay? And it's very obvious. You got pretty much their entire squad is either questionable or out. The huge one is Jokic. He's out. Then you got Gordon is questionable. You got Murray is questionable. Then you got Braun is questionable. And then on this side, we've been fading the hell out of the Brooklyn Nets whenever they go on the under. I've done this last couple of days when I showed you the stats for the Brooklyn Nets. And they hit a lot on the under because their offense is horrible. They do have Claxton and Highsmith that are questionable, and Michael Porter is also probable. Now I'm going to tell you exactly a little bit more stats just so you understand. Jokic, Denver without Jokic is not good at all on offense. So he has a knee injury, and then you got Valanciunas is out, Gordon is out, Christian Braun is out, and Cam Johnson is out on the other side. So just sort of proof, their averages are 120 points per game. And without Jokic, the last two games, one game they went 113 points, and then the other game they went 108 points. Now on the other side, for the Brooklyn Nets, they're actually 29th, which is one of the worst teams on offense with a very slow pace, and they hit the unders a lot. Now, one last thing I will mention that's a very slight risk is the 15-2 over here, 88%. Denver Nuggets go on the over. Whenever they're in the last 17 games, they've gone 15 games on the over whenever they're a favorite. However, that is not counting the fact of all the injuries that I just told you about. And it's also not counting the fact that Brooklyn Nets is one of the worst teams on offense. So the first leg of this is going to be the Brooklyn Nets versus the Nuggets on the under. I'm going to tell you exactly what line I'm playing it to. And I'm also going to show you the second leg and then the slip. I'm going to show you exactly which line I'm going to go with on both legs. Now, the second leg of this, I'm going to be looking at the Thunder versus the Suns. You can see right here, the Thunder should cover this spread 12 points. The current line right now is OKC opened at 8, and it's currently at 9. So the projections are actually a 3-point buffer saying that they should win by 12. You can see the public actually aligns with this one. 72% of the bets, 81% of the money is coming in on OKC. We're not looking at the over-unders on this one. And then the one little thing I want to tell you is the Suns do cover the spread. You can see right here, they cover the spread 7 out of the last 10 games. And then the Thunder cover 50-50. However, this is a big one. When the Thunder have played against the Suns, they're hitting at an 80% hit rate to cover the spread. Now, another big thing here is that the Suns actually only won the game 9 times out of the last 39 games. Now, let me just give you some more stats that I have. The Thunder, they're 23-1 when they're heavily favored. So they've actually covered and won 23 times out of the last 24 games. They are the best team in NBA right now. They simply don't lose games when they're favorites. And like I mentioned here, the Suns are hitting at a 23% whenever they're starting as underdogs. That's a 77% loss. Now, if we look here, actually the Suns are missing Allen and Green, which this guy is one of their top shooters besides Booker. And then Hardenstein is their center, but Holmgren is actually very good as well. So OKC is known to have great centers, and this is one of them. Even though this guy's out, this guy should cover it pretty easily. And like I mentioned, everybody else, these are all their starters. They're all healthy. Now, like I mentioned also, one last thing I'll mention is Gillespie. That's a huge downgrade for being point guard for today. Now, 2 final notes I'll say on the OKC Thunder is that whenever they're on the road, which they are today, they're 13-3 on the road. That's a 81% hit rate. Another thing to note is that whenever they win, they actually win by 16 points. So that's an elite level team that's blowing out other teams, especially if they're missing their point guard and they're only hitting at a 33% hit rate. Now, the second leg of this, we're actually taking the Thunder. And again, I'm going to show you the slip of exactly how I'm playing this 2-leg parlay. Right before I give you the slip, let me just very quickly tell you, if you're not getting the free picks, make sure you click on free picks. Sometimes I don't have time to make a video. And if you have this free picks, you'll get alerted on your email and your phone to get the free picks. Also, check us out, a 1 day pass, 1 week pass, 1 month pass. This will be for all the picks, not just the one pick that we're giving for free. And then also check us out on the Discord. We have about 40 people in there now. And then the Sharp Edge tools right here, 14 days for free for that. And the last thing is, if you want to learn how we do this stuff, click on where it says learn from us. All right, guys, so here's a slip. We're taking the Thunder on the money line. So all you have to do is win the game. And then we're buying it back on the Denver Nuggets and the Brooklyn Nets. We're buying it all the way up to 237.5 on the under. If you did that, you can go on, you can see Bet Rivers has it at 163. DraftKings has it at 165. If you want to get better odds than that, I would recommend you do the OKC Thunder on a -1.5 or a -2.5, or bring down the Brooklyn Nets maybe to a 235 or a 236, something like that. All right, guys, I think we just crossed 2,900 subscribers. Please click on subscribe if you haven't done so. And let's cross 3,000 subscribers today. I appreciate you all. If you agree with this play, if you like this play, if you don't like this play, please leave it in the comments. Let me know what you like or what you don't like about this breakdown. Thank you so much. Let's keep this streak going. Thank you. Let's have a great day.